Hi everybody, and welcome back. Before I begin these two terrifying stories, I'd like to quickly warn everybody, as we will delve deeper into the psychological terror of demonic possession, exploring the thin veil between our world and the realm of darkness. It is a chilling narrative that combines supernatural elements with the inner turmoil of a man fighting for his soul. And at the beginning or the end of each story, you'll hear a quick gunshot, which means we've either begun or ended a story. And that's just to make it simple for you to listen and pay attention. So I'll quickly give you an idea behind what happened. And if you'd like me to expand these series further, feel free to ask down below in the comment section, and I shall not disappoint you. Quickly before I begin, make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications bell so you do not miss out on any of our upcoming crazy stories. Now let's begin. The bell above the door jingles ominously as Sam, in his mid-30s, rugged and curious, steps into the dimly lit shop. The air is thick with the scent of old wood and must. Shelves are crammed with oddities, skulls, ancient tomes, and artifacts that seem to watch Sam as he passes. So Sam was muttering to himself, "These dreams, they have to mean something. There got to be an answer here." His eyes were drawn to a peculiar book, its cover etched with symbols that seemed to writhe in the candlelight. So while Sam was gazing at this scene, he found himself being encircled by a sea of candles in the middle of his room. The book opened by itself, and he found himself reading loud. His voice carried a mix of fear and fascination at the same time. The words were somehow foreign, but strangely familiar. As Sam was reading, "Those who dare to peer into the abyss must be willing to be consumed by it." Unseen by Sam, a shadow detached itself from the wall. Its form was somehow vaguely like a human, while Sam was thrashing in his sleep, caught in the throes of a nightmare. The room is unnaturally dark. The shadows were thick and alive. Sam was whispering to himself in his sleep, "No, not real. This cannot be real." The shadow from the living room oozes under the door, inching towards the bed with malevolent intent. Sam woke up with a choked scream, his body drenched in sweat. The air is oppressive, heavy with malice. Sam then panicked and said, "What in God's name is happening?" And as he was catching his reflection in the mirror, he found out that he was not alone. That's what he realized. He realized that a dark figure loomed behind him. Its eyes were burning with an unholy light, and he could see that clearly. Sam immediately grew gaunt and pale. He was an obsessed man, as the book was still open, its page filled with notes and frantic scribbles. He spoke to himself as he was rehearsing a plan, and he said, "I have to send it back. I have to." The shadows hovers close. It's from now clearer, more terrifying, a demon with eyes like coals. Then as Sam was gazing at this scene, he found himself meeting an old librarian, her eyes wide with fear as she listens to his tale. The old librarian gravely said, "You've awakened a demon, one that feeds on fear and darkness. You must undo what you've done, or it will consume you." Sam nods, and his face sat in grim determination. Then he immediately started chanting, "I cast you out. Return to the void." The room started convulsing as if it was alive. Books were cascading from shelves, the candles snuffed out by an unseen force, and as Sam was lurking The demon roared in fury. Then the demon charged at Sam. But Sam stood resolute, chanting with all his might. And as he was chanting, a blinding light filled the room. And with a final ear-splitting howl, the demon is torn away, vanishing into nothingness. Sam collapsed exhausted, but he was eventually victorious. Sam then decided to never go to that road and began his journey of recovery. As the mysterious disappearance of the antique shop, the book too has vanished, leaving behind only the echo of its dark power. In the remote corners of the English countryside, where the moors stretch out like a sea of heather and the fog clings to the earth, there lies the village of Melfield. It is a place that seems untouched by time, where traditions hold fast and the modern world feels like a distant whisper. But Melfield harbors a secret, one that is old as the hills that surround it. At the edge of the village, past the fields where the sheep graze and the woods that children dare not enter, stands Blackwood Manor. It is a grand structure, with towers that reach for the sky and windows that reflect the moonlight in 1,000 shimmering pieces. But the beauty of the manor is marred by the stories that cling to it, tales of a darkness that consumes the soul and whispers of a curse that has lasted for generations. The manor was once the home of the Blackwood family, nobles who were as renowned for their wealth as they were for their misfortune. The last of the Blackwoods was Sir Jonathan, a man whose obsession with the occult led him secrets of life and death, delving into ancient texts and performing rituals that were meant to remain hidden. As the legend goes, Sir Jonathan's tampering with the forbidden awakened something within the manor, a presence formless and shadowy, that moved in the corners of one's vision and vanished when I looked upon directly. The villagers spoke of it in hushed tones, calling it the shadow of Melfield, and they crossed themselves whenever they passed the manor's gates. For years, the manor stood empty, a monument to the folly of Sir Jonathan Blackwood. Vines crept up its walls, and the once manicured gardens grew wild. It became a place for pilgrimage for those with a taste for the macabre, and a warning for those who valued their souls. Thomas is a young writer with a passion for the supernatural and a heart full of curiosity. He had heard the stories of Blackwood Manor, of the shadow that lurked within, and he saw in them the seeds of a story that could make his name known across the land. Armed with nothing but his pen and his courage, Thomas set out for Melfield, determined to uncover the truth of the Blackwood curse. He arrived in a night when the moon hung low in the sky, a thin crescent that cast a pale light over the land. The fog was thick, wrapping around him like a cloak as he made his way to the manor. The iron gates groaned as he pushed them open, and the path before him seemed to swallow the sound of his footsteps. The manor was a shadow of its former self, with windows boarded up and doors that hung off their hinges. But to Thomas, it was a treasure trove of stories waiting to be told. He stepped inside, his lantern casting a warm glow against the darkness that seemed to press in from all sides. The interior of the manor was a labyrinth of rooms and corridors, each more decrepit than the last. Painting of the Blackwood family hung on the walls, their eyes following Thomas as he passed. He could feel the weight of their gazes, as if they were judging him for daring to tread where did he not belong. In the heart of the manor, Thomas found Sir Jonathan's study. It was a room out of time, with a desk covered in dust and shelves filled with books that smelled of mildew and age. And there in the center of the desk lay Sir Jonathan's journal, its page yellowed and its ink faded. Thomas opened the journal, and the words within told the tale of a man driven mad by his quest for knowledge. Sir Jonathan had indeed summoned something from beyond the veil, a creature of shadow and malice that was bound to the manor. It whispered to him of power and secrets that were not meant for mortal ears. And in his hubris, Sir Jonathan believed he could control it. But the creature was cunning, and it sought a way to escape its prison. It needed a vessel, a new host through which it could walk the world of the living. And as Thomas read the final entries of the journal, he realized with a growing horror that the creature had set its sights on him. The shadows in the room grew darker, and Thomas could feel the presence of the entity as it drew near. It was a suffocating force, one that filled the air with the scent of decay and the sound of whispers that promised eternal life. Thomas knew that he had to escape, that he had to flee before the creature could claim him as its own. He ran through the manor, the creature's laughter echoing in his ears. There was a sound that was both alluring and terrifying, a siren's call that beckoned him to give in to the darkness. But Thomas was determined to survive, to tell the world of the horror that lay within Blackwood Manor. In a final act of desperation, Thomas set fire to the study, hoping to destroy the creature along with the manor. Flames licked at the walls, and the creature's screams tore through the night as it was consumed by the inferno. Thomas escaped the blaze, his body battered and his mind scared by what he had witnessed. He wrote the novel, a chilling account of his experience. But the shadow of Millfield never left him. It lingered in the corners of his vision, a constant reminder of the darkness that he had faced. And sometimes, in the dead of night, he would see a figure standing in the corner of his room, its form indistinct and its intentions unknown. It was a presence that waited, that watched. Then Thomas knew that the shadow of Millfield would always be with him. And that was the end of today's video. As you guys witnessed, this last story was nothing but delving deeper into the lore of Blackwood Manor and the curse that haunts it, providing a more immersive and detailed narrative. I really hope that you guys enjoyed these two stories. Don't forget to drop a like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications bell so you're always staying tuned with more of our upcoming scary stories. See you again.